Hey, welcome to another video, guys. Before you spend your next $50 bill, watch this video and save the different parts that apply to you, because you could have a $50 banknote that's worth way more than its face value, but first you gotta be familiar with the different parts of the note and what errors to look for. So let's talk about all of them. First off, all 2004 style Federal Reserve notes will feature different background colors and a large borderless portrait. In this case, on $50 bills, you have a portrait of Ulysses S. Grant. First, we'll talk about the different depictions and designs of the note, and then the different features of the note, as well as some anti-counterfeiting stuff, and then, for a lot of you, probably the most important part of the video, all the errors that you can look for and serial numbers that'll make your $50 bill worth way more than the face value. So first, of course, we touched on the portrait of the note, which also uses a tactile raised printing, and this is for a couple different reasons. Most notably, the raised printing is hard to reproduce and is an anti-counterfeiting measure. It's most notably seen in the coat of Grant, and it's also utilized a little bit in the borders of the note. The paper in which the note is printed is like any other US currency. It's 25% linen and 75% cotton, but the main thing is it's embedded with little fibers throughout it, and that's also an anti-counterfeiting measure that is hard to reproduce, but also gives really good durability to the note, as the BEP states that US currency should be able to be folded over 4,000 times individually before they start to really wear out and need to be replaced. Like other denominations of $5 and more, there's a watermark on the $50 note, and that's any 2004 style Federal Reserve note or newer, and these can be seen from any side of the note in the light, and is located here to the right of the word 50 and your Treasury seal. That brings us to the seals, which is the Federal Reserve System seal, as well as the Treasury seal. This was updated in the late 60s, and since 1969 features an English inscription around the circular seal. There's also color shifting ink that's used on $50 notes, similar to other denominations like the $100 and $20 banknotes. This color shifting ink is located in what they refer to as a symbol of freedom, which is the star here, and it has a background color and shifting color. This symbol is said to be representative of the United States flag. A field of blue stars is located to the left of the portrait, while 3 red stripes are located to the right of the portrait. But in the color changing ink here, it'll shift from copper to green as the note is tilted towards a 45-degree angle. The only one that has an absence of this would be the $5 bill, the $1 bill, and the $2 banknote. We also have the normal annotations across the note, like the front plate numbers, which you'll also see a back plate number on the reverse when I show you that in a moment. You'll also see your face plate number, your series year, which is located on the bottom left of a $50 banknote, of course your denominations of 50, your color changing ink in this 50 here, which does also change from a copper to green tone. And then this number here is going to be your note position, letter, and number. There's also Federal Reserve indicators, which is located here and is E5. This identifies one of the 12 distributing Federal Reserve banks. This letter and number designation will also correspond to the position letter in the alphabet, and the letter will match the second prefix, which is here, which is E. The first letter is going to be P, and it's going to correspond to the series date. So this letter, well, both of these letters would be different because they're going to correspond individually per block of 50s that are printed. The rest of the serial number is made up of 8 digits and another letter. This letter here indicates when this 50 was printed within the block of the 50s printed. The serial number, of course, is individual to this $50 bill, and this is where the fun begins, because you can look for a ton of different collectible serial numbers that are worth a ton of money over $50. things like radar notes, repetitious notes that are called binaries, and trinaries, which have 2 or 3 different digits that repeat themselves, historical dates or birthday or date notes where it depicts a birthday or important date in it. All of those can be really collectible. Before we get too far into different collectible portions of the note, let's talk about the microprinting on $50 notes, as someone pointed out in another video of mine, and it's a really important thing to keep in mind. If you look carefully, and usually you'll need to do this under a magnifying glass or a loupe, to see the small printed text of the word 50 USA and the number 50 inside 2 of the blue stars to the left of the portrait. You'll see it kind of in this area here. This is an anti-counterfeiting measure and also an area where you can find errors and misprints. You'll also notice the word 50 repeated within both side borders of the note throughout the left and right sides, and the phrase the United States of America in President Grant's collar, which is going to be located about right here. These are all again anti-counterfeiting measures, but also give way to areas for errors. When we look at the reverse of the note, we can see a very nice depiction of the US Capitol with lots of intricate detail all over the design. These are also good areas for ink issues and errors there. You'll also see repetitious 50s on both sides of this depiction, which are an anti-counterfeiting measure. The large 50 here is also for visually impaired people, but as they redesign notes through 2040, they plan to add actual tactile functions for the visually impaired, which I think is wonderful. Keep an eye out around the different intricate detail points for ink issues and misprints. This is also an area where you can see the watermark for the $50 note through the back of the note by holding it to the light. Now that we've touched on most of the things with the design and the features and anti-counterfeiting measures on the note, let's talk about the fun part, which is going to be all the different errors. First off, you can find major errors like misalignments, misprints, major ink smears and ink issues both on the front and the back of the $50 banknote. With misalignment prints, you'll notice that the print itself is misaligned to one edge or another, and usually runs along the edge of the border rather than leaving a visible border there. Miscuts are really noticeable because, typically speaking, a portion of the depiction will be missing off the note, and in dramatic cases, you'll actually see portions of another banknote that was on the sheet next to this one printed along with this one in that miscut error. Those are worth thousands of dollars. Of course, I mentioned that you have fancy serial numbers that you can collect, or patterns in the serial number, and those range heavily in the amount that they can sell for, but can range anywhere from a few dollars over face value to, I've seen examples of binary notes with zeros and ones, which are referred to as a true binary serial number, and it's only 2 digits with 0 and 1, sell for close to $250 for a $50 note in really good condition. There's also lots of small ink issues you can look for, like over inks in the serial number, issues around the color changing ink used in the 50 and the star, as well as you can look at the back, like I said, around the intricate detail points of the depiction of the Capitol, and look for ink smears and misprints there. Also keep in mind that any of the anti-counterfeiting measures we talked about give way for areas for errors as well, so keep your eyes peeled pretty much when looking over the whole note, primarily around any counterfeiting measures and any intricate detail points. Let me know what you think about the $50 note, what you're looking forward to seeing on the new 50s as they come out here in about 10 years or so, what you'd like to see on them, if you're excited about the tactile kind of braille functions they're adding to US Federal Reserve notes, and let me know what you've come across in your coin and banknote searches lately as well. I love reading about that and hearing about your finds, so I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.